Welcome again. This is Spotlight. I'm Pastor Dan. I hope you've been with us. We've done, three, I guess, already in this particular series of Spotlight. Wrestling with the Old Testament God, quotes, Old Testament God. How do we square up this picture of God with Jesus and grace and kindness and love? And here's this thundering Old Testament God of the prophets. And people die and ground swallows up and the whole cultures get destroyed. And what do we do with that? And he tells us, I'm going to roll you off a cliff, and I'm going to burn you, and I'm going to do this to your mother. These are hard verses. And we have to try to find a way to wrestle with it. Well, I'll give you a great answer. It's from a writer named William Webb. And he's got a couple books. I haven't read every word, but I've read a bunch of it. And he really wanted to take on the challenge of how to interpret these things and how to integrate it. A key issue is, the key word is trajectory. Which direction is the witness going in Scripture? We want to see where is this headed. Is Scripture heading towards racism? There are verses that sound like racism in the Bible. For racism and hierarchical cultures, and one race is better than another, and some are slaves, and some rule over others. Is that the trajectory of Scripture, where Scripture wants to go? Or is equality, and we're all one in Jesus, and so on? Is that the trajectory of Scripture? And this is on the way there. So we're always wrestling with what is the heart of the Bible? Where is the Bible going? It's a human book wrestling with human real issues. God is down here working with real situations. And he has to take people where they are and take them somewhere. What's that trajectory? So God is trying to find a way to take human situations and human prophets and then give his divine message here. So we want to know where that divine message is. What's the core? What are the key things that we can know for sure about God out of all this mix? And so he was trying to find a way, William Webb. So he suggests three letters, X, Y, and Z. Y is your passage that you're struggling with. And say, boy, what is going on with this? And he looks at a lot of them. X, he says, is the cultural background of that time. So now you can get a little idea of the trajectory. And if you can get the X and Y and draw a line either direction, then you can articulate and kind of measure out where Z might be. Maybe it doesn't say Z, but we can figure it out. So he gives a famous example. He said, take the verse that says, an eye for an eye. Seems harsh. Eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. But that's your Y. If you look at X, that's the cultural background. And we find out that back then, they had honor killing. If somebody hurt you, you had a right to get all your family and buddies together and go wipe out that whole village. And God is saying, that may be how they do it, but that's not how you're going to do it. We just do an eye for an eye. So it's proportional. And so God is moving people towards a more kind, more compassionate place. Then he comes down to Jesus and he says, you have heard that I said an eye for an eye. Yes, I did. But that was then. Now I say to you, turn the other cheek. Go the second mile. Give them your coat. Do unto them as you would have them do unto you. Then he gets up on a cross and said, this is really how I want you to be. You give. You don't use violence anymore. You just give for people and serve people. I heard Randy Roberts do a great sermon on this. He called 3 yards and a cloud of dust. We were in Seattle where they had just won the Super Bowl. He said, in the olden days, that was all they did, was 3 yards and a cloud of dust. There was no throwing the ball. You just handed the ball, and they banged into the line, and 22 people piled on a pile. And then you went and did it again, moved slowly down the field. And then someone got the idea, this is craziness, let's throw the ball over that pile. And he went back and he began to, and the forward pass came into being. And then they have what they call a Hail Mary, someone fades back, and they can throw it all the way down the field. So the Old Testament was those 3 yards and a cloud of dust. God takes people where they are and he moves them just as far as they can go. They can't go very far, like a rubber band. You take too far, it'll snap. So just move them a little bit. But then Jesus comes and we have a forward pass. And then Jesus dies on a cross. And that's the Hail Mary. That's who God really is. So God takes people where they are, moves them bit by bit, hoping they'll stay with you until it gets to Jesus and say, that's who I really am. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. This is Spotlight. We'll do it again. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can get for these messages of Spotlight. God bless you.